to go straight into matters of Nzoia Sugar. This is a very important element of the economic life of the people of Bungoma. We rely heavily on cane and maize farming. There have been some information going around that the government has decided to privatize Nzoia Sugar. I have 3 or 4 points to make insofar as Nzoia Sugar is concerned. Driven by what I decide, which is that any cane farmer must be given an opportunity to sell the cane to any available buyer at a good rate, and the payment must be prompt. That is what drives my next point. The reason as to why people in Bungoma belabor, put in efforts to plant sugarcane is that they have a desire that after 18 months or 2 years, they will be able to exchange the cane with money and sort out the very many issues that requires money. So, I support the desire of government. I support the effort of the government of Kenya to ensure that Nzoia Sugar and Mumias Sugar goes to reclaim their lost glory. They go back to profitability. They go back to building their capacity to buy cane from farmers and pay them on time. However, we are also aware that the technology of cane production and Nzoia Sugar and Mumias Sugar is a very old technology that cannot make any farm be profitable as we speak today. We need a complete overhaul of all the machines at Nzoia Sugar and Mumias Sugar. While my very good friend Edwin Sifuna, who is a lawyer, and I expect that him, being a lawyer, will understand the laws of this country better than I do. But I have since discovered that even if you are an astute lawyer, that you are an accomplished lawyer, when you begin to walk around to associate yourself with the people, the characters of the members of parliament and the supporters of Azimio, you begin to behave like one, that the only vocabulary you know is Tialala and Tibi. The decision by cabinet that it says that it gave the government authority to privatize government institutions without seeking the input of the National Assembly did not take away the constitutional provisions of public participation. In this aspect, the decision by the cabinet, chaired by William Samoei Ruto, that they do not need the input of members of parliament in the National Assembly and the Senate to privatize Nzoia Sugar did not take away the rights of Didmas Wekesa Barasa, the rights of John Makali, the rights of Majimbo Kalasinga, the rights of Ken Lusaka, and the rights of the people of Bungoma in giving out their views, in giving out their position through public participation. We need a complete overhaul of all the machines at Nzoia Sugar and Mumias Sugar. While my very good friend Edwin Sifuna, who is a lawyer, and I expect that him, being a lawyer, will understand the laws of this country better than I do. But I have since discovered that even if you are an astute lawyer, that you are an accomplished lawyer, when you begin to walk around to associate yourself with the people, the characters of the members of parliament and the supporters of Azimio, you begin to behave like one, that the only vocabulary you know is Tialala and Tibi. The decision by cabinet that it says that it gave the government authority to privatize government institutions without seeking the input of the National Assembly did not take away the constitutional provisions of public participation. In this aspect, the decision by the cabinet chaired by William Samoei Ruto that they do not need the input of members of parliament in the National Assembly and the Senate to privatize Nzoia Sugar did not take away the rights of Didmas Wekesa Barasa, the rights of John Makali, the rights of Majimbo Kalasinga, the rights of Ken Lusaka, and the rights of the people of Bungoma in giving out their views, in giving out their position through public participation. I want to ask the people of Bungoma that when the government of Kenya will decide to privatize Nzoia Sugar, the governor of Bungoma, Ken Lusaka, the members of parliament in their capacity as citizens of Bungoma, Mama Mbogas of Bungoma, and everybody in Bungoma County, they will be given an opportunity through public participation to give in their views. As a member of parliament for Bungoma, from Bungoma, I want to confirm that we held a meeting 3 days ago with the Speaker of the National Assembly in his capacity as the son from this region and not as Speaker of the National Assembly, and we deliberated this matter. The Honorable John Makali was in attendance. Majimbo Kalasinga was also in attendance. John Murumba Jikati was in attendance. Mama County Wambilianga was in attendance, and one and only Martin Wanyonyi Pepela from Webuye East was also in attendance of that meeting. And we agreed on a plan that is going to sort out Nzoia Sugar, a position which we will be rallying the people of this county to support. That one, the nuclears that are part of our heritage, that it belongs to the forefathers of this county, cannot be touched by anybody. And we will want to ask the government that if the government of Kenya is unable to revive and run Nzoia Sugar, that they should write off the debts, hand over the factory to the county government of Bungoma, so that Ken Makelo Lusaka and the people of Bungoma can try to set up aside some funds, bring in new machines that will embrace new technology, so that we can bring Nzoia back to profitability. That is our first proposal. The second proposal is that if the government of Kenya is unable to run Nzoia Sugar and they want to privatize, to bring in a strategic investor to run the factory, we will want that the people of Bungoma, the governor of Bungoma, be involved in drafting or putting ingredients in the agreement, and that the land must remain the property of the county of Bungoma. What the strategic investor should do is just to be given buildings so that he brings in new machines with new technology because the interests of the people of Bungoma are only two. One is to secure our land that forms part of majority of the nucleus, and the second is that the factory must be able to buy cane from farmers. The factory must be able to pay farmers within a period of not more than 7 days. That is the only interest of the people of Bungoma. We are not interested in whether this strategic partner will be black, white, or yellow. We are not interested in where the strategic partner will come from. As long as the nucleus continues to be the property of the people of Bungoma, as long as that investor will bring in new machines that embrace new technology and assure farmers that the cane will be purchased at a good rate that is competitive with what West Kenya is buying, with what Kabras Millers is buying, with what Mzali Sugar is buying. Once that one has been assured and put in place, we will support the government in privatizing Nzoia Sugar, as long as those two aspects that I've talked about are respected. The second thing that I want to talk about is that I want to thank the people of Bungoma for not heeding to the rallying call by the merchants of hypocrisy, by economic terrorists who have gone a notch higher to begin also participating in urban banditry, led by the chief bandit, Raila Amolo Odinga, to begin putting sufriyas on their head and begin to engage in maandamano in demonstrations. I want to thank the people of Western Kenya for not heeding that advice. And I also want to salute them, the people of Bungoma, for taking advantage of the ongoing rains to be busy preparing their land, tilling their land in readiness to plant maize, which is the backbone of our economic activity. But I want to take issue with one man whom I want to take a minute or two to unmask him, because he is a masquerade. He has been masquerading as a leader for 30 years, and he is not. He has been masquerading as a person who is a strategic thinker in terms of improving the economic well-being of the people of Western Kenya. This man is called Ludovic Eugene Wamalwa. He is the only representative. I am talking about the stature of the people who have shown interest in the recent past that they can run for presidency, that they can occupy a position of influence that the Mlembe people and the people of Western Kenya can be proud of. This man has served in cabinet for 30 years. He was first given an opportunity to serve in cabinet of Mwai Kibaki as Minister for Justice and Legal Affairs Minister. The only gift that he gave the people of Western Kenya at that time is to sanction the sacking of the first Deputy Chief Justice, who had the full potential of becoming the first Chief Justice of the Republic of Kenya, as a woman from our area, Madam, former Deputy Chief Justice, Nancy Barasa. Her only wrongdoing was to be fixed, that he touched some ears of some girl somewhere. That is the gift that Eugene Ludovic Wamalwa gave to the Mlembe people. He sanctioned that Nancy Barasa should be dismissed, and Nancy was dismissed as the Deputy Chief Justice. God elevated him to the Minister for Water. When Eugene Wamalwa was Minister for Water, taps in Bungoma ran more dry. Bungoma was the only place in the whole world, a place that is endowed with free water. Our county experienced serious water rationing. And as we speak today, 80% of the cover of Bungoma County do not have piped water. Men and women and children still walk more than 2 kilometers to fetch water from natural wells, commonly known as Jezreel. So what value did Eugene Wamalwa, CS for Water, add to the water sector of Bungoma County? Nil. God elevated him further to the position of CS for Devolution, while Wycliffe Oparanya by then was the chairman of the Council of Governors. He used his position as the chairman of the Council of Governors to negotiate with the development partners, including World Bank, to wall the road that comes from Amalemba, passing Kakamega, to a dual carriage. Eugene Wamalwa was just moving around, speaking English, Queen's English in devolution conferences, and he allowed our governor by then, who was desirous of doing the same of what Oparanya has done by dualing the road, to dual the road from Muskoma to Kandui. He spent a whopping more than 1.2 billion, money that is supposed to improve more than 150 health facilities across this county, to go to fund a function of national government that Eugene Wamalwa would have just rallied the World Bank and other development partners within his devolution ministry to dual a 7-kilometer road from Sikoma to Kandui. So, the question that I want to ask, what value did the CS of devolution at that time, Eugene Wamalwa, add to the people of Mlembe Nation? The answer is one, that he hosted a devolution conference in Kakamega. The only business that was brought is that one which he every day quotes, that matter that concerned the former deputy governor of Kirinyaga, who was found in a hotel somewhere with a girl whom we found out that he was not even from Western. He was being imported from the outskirts of Kisumu. Is that what you can claim to have been the only value that you brought to this region when you were Minister for Devolution? The answer is no. This man, God pushed him higher to the Minister of Defense. There is no value that this man added to the people of Mlembe Nation when he was Minister for Defense. The reason as to why communities feel that we must have